my channel? Welcome back to another video. I'm Messy Jessie and you're watching It's About to Get Lit. I have a nice stack of books here, a good girthy, thick stack of books by Black authors that I have hauled recently. Now, these books include both library books and books that have been sent to me by publishers. I am a huge proponent of my local library. I support them at any chance that I get, and I highly encourage y'all to support your local libraries as well. Prior to launching into this very exciting book haul, I have to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is none other than Book of the Month. Book of the Month is an e-commerce subscription service where every single month the curators for this book subscription box scour the hottest and upcoming titles. They find the best and most exciting books that are on the market. So you have 5 really exciting titles to choose from, and you get to pick one of them and have that book shipped to you. This is really exciting because the books that Book of the Month sends you are all really nice, high quality hardcovers. So you're essentially getting hardcover, newly released titles. Sometimes these are books that are early releases at a severely discounted rate, which is amazing. I'm really excited about the books that they have sent me this month. Each of them are books that I really am excited to read. And the first one is Kristen Hanna's latest, most highly anticipated book, none other than The Four Winds, which is an exciting historical fiction novel centering the Great Depression and the lives of farmers during this era. Then we have a contemporary novel that I'm really excited about. This is Infinite Country, and it follows a family from Bogota who have to put their lives back together after one of them is deported. Essentially, this is a story about family trying to find their way back to each other, and I'm really excited. I've heard amazing things about this one. Then we switch gears to a contemporary novel, although I guess technically it's historical fiction since it's set in 2008. This is a book about family and motherhood, as well as the rising racial tensions that existed between white and Black folks during this time. Then we have a psychological thriller. One of my favorite things about Book of the Month is that they always switch up the genres. You get a nice mix of genres to choose from. So if you're not like a romance reader, there's always going to be a thriller for you. There's going to be something to suit your tastes. This book is one that I'm super excited about. This is a book about siblings who grew up in a literal house of horrors and are still trying to put their lives back together. Same. And finally, they have sent Honey Girl, which is probably the book that I'm the most excited about, although I'm geeked for literally all of these titles. This is about a very intelligent young Black woman who is obtaining a PhD in astronomy. She goes to Vegas to celebrate and comes back with a wife after a drunken night on the town. Those are the books that Book of the Month is featuring this month in February, and you can get your very first box for only $9.99 using the code FEBREADS. This is really exciting because a Book of the Month subscription is normally $14.99. You are definitely saving money by signing up and taking advantage of this deal. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video and for sending me these awesome titles. So I have 18 books that I am really excited to gush about and show y'all. At the very top of the stack, we have The Broken Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. This is the second book in her Inheritance trilogy. I started book 1 in January and it blew my mind. I'm so excited. I believe in this book we are following a blind artist. A lot of time has passed since the events of book 1, and I'm very excited to see how the world has changed, the repercussions of the gods' choices and main characters' choices at the end of book 1. So freaking excited. For those of you who aren't aware of the series and what it chronicles, essentially gods are enslaved by a powerful family who has taken control over all of the lands. Our protagonist is summoned to the palace of this very powerful family because she is a distant relative and forced to compete with the children of this empire for a spot on the throne. And it's just really good. I loved it. I thought the world building was great. I loved the protagonist. I know that she is not going to be our protagonist in this book, but I'm hoping that she pops up in some way, shape, or form. Then I have Shuri by Nick Stone. I am so proud of Nick Stone that she has come out with this Black Panther novel in collaboration with Marvel. Super proud of her. She also just announced her new book, which looks amazing, Black Girls and Softball. And the cover, it just was giving me life, all the life that I don't have. In this book, Shuri has been working towards creating new technology for the Empire of Wakanda, and then she gets word that several girls have gone missing. These disappearances are absolutely linked, and she sets out on a journey to recover these girls and find out what happened to them. Now, I love this premise. I'm really hoping that this book gives us some critical commentary on the epidemic of missing Black children, Black females, especially on the 276 schoolgirls who were abducted from school in Nigeria in 2014, and seeing how American media was just very disinterested with what happened with what happened to them and the fate of those girls. I'm just really excited for this book. I know a lot of y'all are going to be geeked that I have hauled You Should See Me in a Crown. This is a book that everybody was reading last year and just absolutely loving. I know that this is about a very awkward, nerdy Black girl named Liz, and she is struggling with her family's financial situation. And I believe that there's some sort of contest attached to winning prom, and she needs that money. She absolutely needs that money, and so she decides to enter this prom competition. However, she finds herself falling in love with one of her competitors, a girl named Mac. I've heard that this is cute and sweet and loving and touching, and I am absolutely here for it. And just look at this beautiful, bold cover. I am excited for the Black joy that this book promises. Then we have The Life I'm In, which is the latest book by Sharon Flake. Sharon Flake, of course, the best-selling author of The Skin I'm In, which is a book that I never read growing up for several reasons, but I saw it all the time on the bookshelves and I just never picked it up. I think as a kid, what am I saying? I know as a kid that I definitely shied away from books with Black people on the cover. And although I was too young to understand why I did it, I realize now that I'm older that the reason that I shied away from books where the few books where people like me were on the covers was because those books almost always honestly centered Black trauma, and that wasn't what I wanted to read. I wanted to read books where I was getting to go on adventures and getting to compete in a prom competition. Okay, my friend called me and I film on my phone, so it got interrupted. So I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but essentially I never read her first book because I knew it was about colorism and race and the struggles of being a Black girl, and I just wasn't ready for that. And I also wasn't smart enough to understand the reasons why I wasn't ready for that. But I'm ready for it now. And I'm really, really excited. I just love this cover. I think it's so beautiful. I believe that this is a story about a young Black girl who was trafficked, and she makes it her mission once she is freed from trafficking to do the same for other girls in her situation, to rescue girls that are being trafficked. Black girls specifically being trafficked in the United States is a huge issue. There's a lot of rhetoric about girls being trafficked in other countries, which is important rhetoric, but also that line of conversation is often used as a way of acting as if we are better than those countries and as if we don't allow trafficking of women of color, girls of color to happen in this country every single day. So I'm excited about this focus on Black girls within this topic, even though I know it's going to be heavy and frustrating and angering. Then I have hauled a book that I am very, 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 very excited about. This book is called Muted. It is a novel that is told in verse. I think a lot of people have become much more attracted to novels told in verse, really as a direct result of Elizabeth Acevedo's amazing poetic writing. And I'm super excited for this. I love that our protagonist has heterochromia. That is freaking dope. And I know that this is a story that is centered around music, and I think that that's freaking fantastic. I love seeing books talk about the relationship between Blackness and music. The role that music plays in the lives of teenagers is so deeply understated and often disregarded. The music that we like as kids, I think, is so frequently told to us to be unimportant and to be trivial, when it's not. Like, the music that we listen to absolutely helps shape us and helps us become the person that we're going to be leading into adulthood. Like, this is a book that I know that I'm going to love because it talks about a topic that is very important to me, and it is specifically the topic of Black girls and what they endure in music communities as they become rising stars, the exploitation of Black girls in the music industry. Very, very excited about this, and I love that this is a book about a girl who is having to reclaim her power after a man in the industry attempts to take it from her. I'm absolutely here for it. I'm going to read this very soon. Then we have The Latest and Greatest by Angie Rose. What? Then we have The Latest and Greatest by none other than Angie Thomas, which is Concrete Rose. Now, I don't think I could possibly be any more excited for this book than I already am, but I'm pretty freaking excited. This book is super exciting because it is the prequel to On the Come Up. Publisher also sent me On the Come Up, which I read as soon as it came out. The audiobook was amazing. This is a story about a young Black girl whose father was killed a while ago, and she wants to be a rapper just like him, and it's about her struggle to become a rapper and to be recognized the way that her father was. Meanwhile, at home, her mother is recovering from substance use, and she has a really tight relationship with her family, but it's tense. It's about Black girls and how Black girls are treated in the school system, the sexism that Black girls face in the music industry, and I'm just really excited for this prequel. Angie Thomas sets the scene like no other. She's amazing at writing atmosphere and social commentary, and she's incredible at writing the lives of young Black folks. So I'm really excited. Maverick is 17 in this book, and I just think it's going to be fantastic. Then I have a book that I picked up from my local library. This is called I Do Not Come to You by Chance. I love the cover. I think the cover is stunning. This is a book where the synopsis is incredibly mysterious, but the reviews absolutely carry the excitement that I feel for this novel. It is about an incredibly intelligent young man who has several accolades and degrees, and he's done everything right. He lives in Nigeria and he takes care of his family and he does what's best for them. But a tragedy strikes his family, and this young man has to learn that while education may be the language of success in Nigeria, money is what does the talking. So I'm excited about the commentary on the struggle to obtain wealth and what to do with one's education, as well as the limits of an education. Then I've also hauled a book called They Tell Me of a Home. This is by Danielle Black. In this book, we are following a man named Tommy Lee. He has a very tumultuous past with his family, and he has worked quite hard to escape it. But when tragedy strikes, he decides to plan a 1-week visit to his family, to his small rural town, and return. And the book is about the events that happened during this visit and how they're riddled with heartache and tension and history that is painful and difficult to bear. And essentially, it's about this man's connection to his rural Southern Black folk-led town.
Sounds great.
But what led me to pick up this book specifically was because I was doing research for Blackathon, and since the theme of Blackathon this year is travelers, I thought this would be a perfect book. Then I have hauled the group book for Team Science Fiction Fantasy for Blackathon, which is The Lesson. And this book, I could not possibly be more excited for. I can't believe that I haven't started it yet. I'm just in the middle of so many books, but this is definitely going to be my next read. This is set in the Virgin Islands, where an alien ship comes to dock. They are benevolent in many ways, but meet any act of aggression with disproportional wrath. This has led to a strained relationship between the Ina and the local Virgin Islanders, and a peace that cannot last. And so basically this is a book about conflict that arises between aliens that have come to the Virgin Islands.
And I'm excited.
I have also hauled The Ice Cream Girls. This is a very beloved thriller. I definitely would say that it has a cult following, although I haven't really seen people on BookTube discuss it. It's a backlist title, so maybe people discussed it, before I was on BookTube. But essentially, this is about 2 teenagers, one Black, one white, who are both accused of killing their school teacher. And one of them goes to jail for 17 years and gets out, and
she's got feelings.
And it's basically about these 2 girls, whether or not they actually did kill this teacher, and the repercussions of this teacher dying. Then I have a book that I'm very excited about. I borrowed this from a friend. It is Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor, who I absolutely love. Y'all know that I'm a huge fan of her writing. I'm excited about this because this is what I'm going to be reading for the Team Science Fiction Fantasy Read a Book with an Alien Encounter, where a protagonist has to encounter alien technology or alien civilization, which is the premise of Lagoon. This book is set in Lagos, where 3 total strangers are drawn to Bar Beach. They are a marine biologist, a rapper, and a troubled soldier who are all brought together when an alien ship lands in the ocean, causing a tidal wave that will transform the entire world. I cannot think of a more enticing and delicious synopsis for a story. This sounds so freaking good. Okay, I have 4 books left. I have to show you these really amazing picture books that I picked up from my local library. I really don't care what anybody says. I will always love children's literature. I love picture books. They are my go-to when I'm feeling low emotionally, and they totally count as reading. So this is Muddy, the story of the blues legend Muddy Waters. For those of you who don't know, I am a huge fan of blues and jazz. I just absolutely love those genres. Those are the genres that I listen to predominantly in my personal life. So I'm excited to learn some more about Muddy Waters. I just really love the art style in this book. I just can't wait to sit down with some tea and slowly go through this book, look at all of the photos. I'm really, really excited. And this one I'm super stoked for as well. This is called Mama Miti. And look at this cover. I just think it's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. I think at some point I should show y'all my children's literature collection. But what definitely draws me to this book are the illustrations. Like, I'm sorry, people who look down upon children's literature don't realize. I feel bad for them not realizing how beautiful a lot of the illustrations are and how amazing the storytelling is. I could spend all day looking at children's picture books, and I would do that in the library
if it wasn't considered weird.
In my last book haul video, I hauled Barack Obama's latest memoir, and recently Random House sent me Becoming by Michelle Obama. So I think, let me know in the comment section down below if you would be interested in me doing a reading vlog where I read both of these books. But like, would you seriously watch the video though? Because I know a lot of nonfiction isn't very interesting to a lot of people. So let me know, because these books are pretty long and I don't want to film a vlog for it if, you know, it's not something that y'all would be interested. So let me know either way. Then I hauled Dapper Dan. Penguin Random House sent this to me, and I'm so excited. At some point, I would love to do a cover recreation for this book for obvious reasons. I'm not wearing a bow tie today, but
Dapper Dan is literally me.
This is a story about a very fashionable man in Harlem who opened up a clothing store, and this is the memoir of his life and his journey being in the industry and his struggles with things happening in the neighborhood, his inspiration, his advice, and also him coping with becoming an iconic fashion hero. I am so excited. I almost forgot that I hauled Passing by Nella Larson. This is a book that I read last month in January, and I loved it. I haven't reviewed it yet because I have not yet filmed my wrap up because I'm a horrible reader, but I loved this book so much. If you like a book with an unreliable narrator, if you like kind of a tension-riddled classic that has hints of mystery, definitely read this. This is a classic that I highly, highly actually recommend reading. I read it via audio on Scribd, and I loved the audio. I think that the narrator did an amazing job of bringing the story to life. There's so much to unpack in this novel, and it is about 2 women who are friends as girls. Both of them are light-skinned, easily able to pass as white, and one of them goes on to pass as white and marries a white husband and doesn't tell him that she's black, and of course her husband is very racist. And the other one goes on to marry a black man and have a black child, and then they end up meeting again. And it's very homoerotic, it's very psychologically thrilling, it is beautiful, it's fantastic. Now the last 2 books are the ones that I'm extremely excited about, and you're gonna see why. It's because they are cookbooks. This is called Jubilee, and it is recipes from 200 years of African American cooking. I cannot wait. I love that this book has an amazing texture on it. Author introduces us to Black cooks, some long forgotten, who established much of what's considered to be our national cuisine. Through recipes and stories, we cook along with these pioneering figures, from enslaved chefs to middle and upper class writers and entrepreneurs. With over 100 recipes, Jubilee presents techniques, ingredients, and dishes that show the roots of African American cooking. Deeply beautiful, culturally diverse, and fit for celebration. And the final book that I have for this haul is In BBs Kitchen. This is the recipes and stories of grandmothers from 8 African countries that touch the Indian Ocean. I am so excited about this. All of my Afro cuisine is based on African American cooking or Afro-Latinx cooking. And so I'm very excited to expand. I would like to see people spotlighting African cuisine. I think that's super important.
1 hour later.
Oh my gosh, I have 3 books that I forgot to mention. My bad, y'all. I have Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, which is a thriller about a young Black girl who is rising in the music scene and encounters a man who decides to take her under his wing and wants to mentor her with her career, but she realizes that she is in an abusive relationship and that she's also being groomed, and she is terrified and scared and exploited and trying to find her way out of that situation. We also have Black Noir. This is a collection of mystery, crime, and suspense stories told by African American authors. I am so freaking excited. It is an anthology of 19th century mystery, and I could not freaking be more pumped for a book. And then finally, I have The Ancient Nine. I am so excited about this because it is a Black academia novel by a Black author.
Well, obviously it's by a Black author.
But it's Black academia, which dark academia is all the rage right now. And I love that this Black author wrote a Black dark academic novel. This is a dark academic novel that is set in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1988. And in this book, we are following a young Black man named Spencer Collins. He is described as an unlikely Harvard candidate. He's smart and athletic, but he is tight on cash, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. Then enter Dalton Winthrop, who was born and bred to attend Harvard. He has been given every advantage, every opportunity that life could possibly afford him, and he is also white. And these two men have to come together when they realize that the club, that the organization that they are a part of, the secret organization, has disappeared some people and may or may not be killing folks left and right. So this is a novel about a secret society at one of the most prestigious universities in America. And it is told from the perspective of a Black doctor who also went to one of these universities. So I'm really excited to hear his personal commentary on secret societies and cliques and what it is like to be Black in a predominantly white institution for higher learning. I need to stop saying that I'm excited, but I'm so excited. That is all the books that I have. Please let me know in the comment section down below which of these books you are the most excited to see me read and review. If any of these books are new to you that you are going to put a library hold on ASAP or pick up from your local indie bookstore, let me know in the comment section down below. If you made it this far in the video, I want you to comment down below with the word honey or put the honey pot emoji, just because Honey Girl is one of my favorite books out of this entire haul, and I'm so excited that Book of the Month sent it to me. Don't forget, you can get your first box for $9.99 with the code FEBREADS, and I'm going to leave all of that information in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching another Bow Ties and Books production. If you want more content from me, follow me on my Instagram, but all of my social media links will be in the description box below. Stay safe, wear your mask, and I'll see you in my next video.